You know what that was. Rush, Making Memories off of Fly By Night. Twilight Force before that. A little bit different than Rush, I would say, with the title track off of their newest CD, Dawn of the Dragon Star. That's their third CD also. NWIWRAP before that, Mirath, I think is how we pronounce it, with No Holding Back off of their recent CD, Shahili. And Angra with The Voice Commanding You off of Aurora Consurgens. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. That brings to a close the mostly metal portion of the evening. It is now time to turn this business into the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
I love listening to heavy metal. I love watching wrestling, and since I have 2 hours on the radio every Sunday night, I can talk about both. If you've heard the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program before, thanks for coming back. This is episode 83, and sometimes I just talk about what's been happening. Sometimes I have guests, and sometimes I do delayed audio coverage of events, and that's what we have here. Last night in Hinckley, Illinois, High Voltage Wrestling put on their very first show, and I went out there and recorded some audio, and you'll hear it now. The way this goes is that I record a bunch of stuff from the show with a little bit of commentary so you know what's going on, and then I compress it down, edit out the dull parts, just so you get a feel of the main events that happened throughout the evening, and squish it down to about 20 minutes per half of the show before and after intermission. So this will run us till 10 o'clock. My recommendation for how to listen to something like this, because you're going to be listening to something that's a very visual event, is to just put your feet up, sit back, maybe even close your eyes, and just kind of imagine with your mind's eye what's going on as you're listening to the audio, and put yourself in that place. So this is delayed audio coverage of the debut High Voltage Wrestling show called Labor Pains last night in Hinckley, Illinois. It's another weekend and another wrestling show. This is Ken the Metal Professor, representing WVLP in the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I am way out in Hinckley, Illinois for the debut show of High Voltage Wrestling. Some of you probably have never heard of Hinckley, Illinois. Well, to get there, you go up to Chicago, you head west, you keep heading west. You go almost like you're to Iowa, and you're going to come across Hinckley, Illinois. It's about 10 miles south of Interstate 88, out past Aurora. It takes about 2 hours to get there from Valpo. This is not the farthest distance I've gone to cover a show, though. The reason I came this far is because a lot of the people on the show are going to be familiar to those of us in the Northwest Indiana region. And, yeah, it's good to follow these guys. Drex O'Dell, Thomas Keith and Young Money, High Society, the Bambino Brothers, lots of familiar names on the show. So it's going to get started in just a few minutes. The crowd is pretty good, especially considering that this show is happening the same night as All Elite Wrestling's event, All Out, up there in Hoffman Estates at the Sears Center, I believe. So these are all the people that like wrestling but didn't go to that, like me.
All right, my name is Monster Matt Hardy. Welcome to Hinckley Big Rock High School and High Voltage Wrestling. At this time, I'd like everybody to please rise, and we will do our national anthem. But you guys will be cheering as soon as we get underway here. Our first match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Are you ready to see JP versus Cujo? All right, wrestling fans, when that bell rings, be ready for some action.
The debut match for High Voltage Wrestling is JP Fingers against Cujo. I've not seen JP Fingers before. He's a hippie-ish looking dude. Came out with a sun hat. And looks like he's folding his shirt that he took off at the ring. Ref Zoran is holding Cujo at bay while JP finishes folding his shirt. The crowd doesn't know what to make of Cujo, and neither do I. That was Cujo sitting down abruptly. And maybe they're ready to start. So if you watch the show...
Cujo versus JP Fingers, ladies and gentlemen.
If you watch the show The Amazing World of Gumball, you know the guidance counselor, Mr. Small? If he was a wrestler, that would be JP Fingers.
But he's coming back with a vengeance from the rope. Smash on the ground.
And as I turn the mics back up, hopefully you'll be able to hear a voice other than mine in the background. Hang on.
Yeah. That's a close call, because Cujo doesn't play fair here. He's going to bend and twist his way, bend and twist the bodies any way possible.
There we go. That is ring announcer Matt. Oh, and JP Fingers rolls up Cujo. A surprise pinfall right out of the blue. Cujo was arguing with the ref, and JP took advantage of that. So before JP so rudely interrupted me with his pinfall, I was pointing out it's an interesting setup here apparently. Whenever I go see movies that have a baseball game or a football game, especially high school kids, things like that, the announcer doing commentary can always be heard by the audience, and I've never been anywhere where that was actually the case in real life until tonight. So the commentary table can be heard in the gym during the wrestling match.
All right, wrestling fans, match number 1 was brought to you by Jack and Gina's BB of Hinckley. All right, Jack and Gina's BB of Hinckley, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
So that's going to make my job easy, because really then I just have to record ring announcer Matt, and I don't have to say anything.
Match number 2 is sponsored by Tiger Fitness, and we have a good match for you indeed. We have Bad BAD versus Drex.
Match number 2 is going to be BAD versus Drex Odell. It's a new promotion, a new venue, a new crowd, and for the crowd, these might be new wrestlers. And so they aren't quite sure how they're supposed to react to people that are coming out. Now, I know that you're supposed to boo the heck out of BAD. But, I'm too self-conscious to stand up and do it myself. I have standards to uphold. On the other hand, sometimes people like to boo Drex Odell, and sometimes people like to cheer him. Let's see what the case is now. BAD is already jawing with Ref Zoran.
Looks like we had a few issues there. Looking like you're taunting the ref here and helping him out there. So you got it.
Here comes Drex. Does he have music? There it goes. He has his glowing blue face mask and black trench coat with the glowing blue oval on the back of it. To picture Ali's entrance from WWE with fewer light bulbs.
All right, who's ready to see Bentley Alexander Dawson versus Drex? Bad versus Drex.
Did he check him already?
Now, Ref Zoran is trying to do his job and check the two opponents to see if they have illegal objects secreted away somewhere. Now, at the last show that I was at, Acme Championship Wrestling, where Ref Zoran was overseeing a match involving Bentley Alexander Dawson, Dawson pulled a fast one on him by trying to hit his opponent with a foreign object. Missed. His opponent, Arun, then got the upper hand and pinned Bentley. But while the pinfall was happening, Bentley Alexander Dawson slid the foreign object into Arun's tights. And when everybody stood up from the pinfall, Ref Zoran saw this foreign object in Arun's tights and reversed his decision. So BAD got away with one then. Hopefully Ref Zoran is taking better care this time, looking for those hidden things.
We got no apostrophe in this. You got it. Drex off versus apostrophe. All right, Drex, Odell.
Ooh, and while Drex was trying to get the crowd fired up, BAD snuck up behind him and started pounding on him. We'll see how this goes. Well, the match has gone on for a few minutes more. Drex Odell almost got a 3 count on BAD, but Bentley got his arm up at 2.5, maybe 2 3/4. Now there you might have heard that 2 count. That was BAD almost getting a pinfall on Drex.
He is ripping Hinckley big rock, folks. Monster for his rip on Hinckley big rock.
There's a big belly-to-belly suplex by Drex Odell onto Bentley Alexander Dawson, but still no pinfall. As I'm recording this, it's always hard for me to tell how things are going to sound until I finally get back home later and get to listen to it and edit it up. I'm really interested to find out just how well the commentary that the audience can hear is going to come through on the mics. There's a big boot to the face from Dawson to Drex. Now he's going to try to capitalize another kick to the head while Drex was down on all fours. Here come shenanigans. What does BAD have there? Oh, he's got his chain. Ref Zoran is taking the chain away. Drex is standing behind BAD. Oh, it looks like BAD had a second chain hidden in his tights, but he missed. Drex got the pinfall, but during the pinfall, BAD put his second chain into the back of Drex's singlet. Ref Zoran has raised Drex's hand, but now he's telling Ref Z that there were shenanigans. And Ref found the chain.
Disqualification for using brass knuckles, ladies and gentlemen. Disqualification.
And now Drex has been disqualified.
I didn't see that coming. I don't even know where they came from. The new winner.
Ah, man, it's like watching a rerun of MASH. Uh-oh.
He's taking it all the way back to the locker room.
Drex is chasing BAD backstage now.
number 2. All right, Hinckley fans and wrestling fans, let me ask you a question. Who here likes South Moon Barbecue?
Me.
This next match is sponsored by South Moon Barbecue. Are you ready, folks, for match number 3?
If you need a reason to come out to Hinckley, South Moon Barbecue is it, by the way.
For match number 3. Are you ready for the match of Sabotage versus Tupu? Coming to the ring from the streets of St. Louis, Sabotage.
See, now I'm having an indecision about whether I'm going to go back and edit this later, because wrestling universes should not intersect with each other. And so I told the story about the ACW match and Brentley Alexander Dawson's shenanigans there that paid off, and then he had the same trick here with the same ref. And I don't know how much to make of that. Maybe I should go back and edit out my original storytelling about the ACW show. It is what it is.
His opponent, the Samoan Tupu.
So this third match, we have Sabotage. Been seeing him more frequently after he made his debut a few months ago. He's been at New Generation Wrestling, ACW, here at High Voltage. And I think I've seen him one other place, but no, I can't remember what it was. I've not seen the Samoan Tupu. Let's see, let's have an over-under of how many headbutts he gives. I'm going to say 2.5. This match has had some starts and stops, mostly due to Tupu taking a jump outside the ring and walking around to recover a few times. The last time he came back in the ring, they exchanged a few blows. Sabotage tried to pick him up for a shoulder carry. Sabotage's leg gave out from under him, and Tupu's been taking advantage of that and working on that leg for a couple of minutes now.
He's going to work that again. Is he taking him to the... Oh, he is taking him to the... Oh, this is not how he
Tupu just wrapped Sabotage's leg around the ring post. Yeah, they're both back in the ring now, and Sabotage is trying to put up a fight, but it's really hard for him.
Oh, folks, that is... Oh, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. He is ready to finish this.
Tupu just hit Sabotage with a move that should have finished the match. It was a running back body drop, but instead of pinning him properly, he just stood over Sabotage with one foot on his chest, posing, and so Sabotage was able to kick out. That thud you just heard was a missed attempt at a splash off the top rope by Tupu onto Sabotage. Sabotage's leg is still not really recovered. He's been hobbling around on that thing the whole match.
He's at 3. He's at 4. Is this just going to end, or are we going to have a winner? He's at 6. Sabotage is pulling himself up. Tupu is down to his feet. A little wobbly. And Sabotage quick.
The two are exchanging blows in the ring now. Sabotage with a clothesline on Tupu, still holding his knee though. He managed to get up for a drop kick, but he's slow to get back over and make the pin. And now he's just hanging on the ropes trying to recover. That's way too long. He's not going to get a pinfall out of that. And then he put him up on his shoulder but couldn't carry the weight. This time, Sabotage got him up on his shoulders. And he got the pinfall. The match is over. Tupu was pretending to offer some sportsmanship and a handshake after the match, but he clotheslined Sabotage. And now he's taken him outside the ring and slammed him into a table. Oh, now he's got a steel chair.
This match will not end, and Tupu is not happy about this. Poor Sabotage to hurt me. The table is bent, folks. Tupu. Oh, he's making his exit.
And Tupu did his damage, so now he's going to skulk off.
The crowd does not like the actions of Tupu.
The crowd is very upset, except for the guy with the blue shirt who's been standing up cheering us the whole time.
Sabotage is trying to get to his feet with the help of the ref. Sabotage will hobble on out. Folks, give it up for Sabotage.
And after about 50 minutes of wrestling, it's intermission time. And dang it, that hot dog table looked really good, but there's a long line over there. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
All right, folks, don't be shy. Go meet these wrestlers. They would love to say hello to you.
You're listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I'm Ken, the Metal Professor, and that was the first half of the event put on by High Voltage Wrestling last night in Hinckley, Illinois. The event was called Labor Pains, and going to turn it over to delayed audio coverage of the second half of the show, and then that will wrap up the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program for the week. Remember, next week, my 2-hour block will be 2 hours of heavy metal, pre-recorded, because I will be in Atlanta, Georgia for Prog Power USA. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this wrestling recap.
All right, match number 4. Let me hear you, Hinckley Big Rock. Who is ready? All right, in case you have forgotten, I am Monster Matt Harding from Hinckley. In case you have forgotten, I am Monster Matt Harding from Hinckley. Alright, our match number 4 is sponsored by Biker Dude, which is a YouTube sensation, so check out Biker Dude on YouTube. Match number 4 is Corn Boy versus Augustus Draven.
I have heard of neither Corn Boy nor Augustus Draven.
Loves corn, loving popcorn, and even corny corn. Corn Boy.
I don't know how many E's it takes to spell Corn Boy, but I'll get back to you on that. Both opponents are in the ring. Corn Boy really is a fan of corn. He came to the ring eating popcorn, and he's trying to get chants of corn started. The audience is not playing along. Augustus Draven was going for a Vader bomb on top of Cornboy. Cornboy got his feet up and has been able to take over with some punches and a couple of clotheslines. Cornboy's pretty excited about his standing in the match now. So excited he's slapping himself in the face. And with a brainbuster, he finishes off Augustus Draven. The sentence, "You have not seen the last of me, Cornboy," has probably never been uttered on Earth before, but Augustus Draven just shouted it at him while he was leaving the ring area.
All right, wrestling fan, coming to match number 5. Who liked that last match? Cornboy versus Augustus Draven. All right, match number 5. This is brought to you by the Super Wash of Hinckley, ladies and gentlemen. Super Wash of Hinckley. Super Wash of Hinckley is the sponsor. Good job. All right, well, we get some of this corn out of the ring here. All right, save that for later. We have match number 5, ladies and gentlemen, the Huntsman versus Gunner Brave.
So hopefully you heard that. The Huntsman against Gunner Brave coming up. Props to ref Zoran, who has been working every match tonight so far. Normally refs trade in and out, but it's been all Z tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Huntsman and Gunner Brave are fighting on the outside of the ring. The Huntsman was outside the ring. Gunner Brave dove out through the ropes. The Huntsman caught him in midair and slammed him into the ring post. And they stayed out for a little bit, but they needed to get back in the ring before the 10 count. They've done that. The action's gone back outside the ring. The Huntsman just pulled a Kevin Owens and gave a power slam on the ring apron. Throws Brave back in the ring, but only gets a 2 count out of it. This ring was assembled pretty much brand new. New wood, new foam, new ropes. And the ropes are getting a little saggy. We'll see if that influences any outcomes. The Huntsman just gave a huge slam to Mr. Brave, but the Huntsman hasn't gotten up after it either. Both men to their feet by the count of 7. Gunner Brave's mounting a little bit of a comeback here. Gunner's standing up on the top turnbuckle, but the Huntsman bailed, and so Gunner had to change plans. Oh my gosh, the new plan is a tope con hilo, up and out over the top rope. Huntsman was crawling towards the merch tables asking for someone to help him, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, and the Huntsman just threw Gunner Brave up and over Drex Odell's merch table. Drex is off on the side having a conversation with Mr. Tony Rican, who's in the house. So he's not upset that somebody just ruined his merch table. You can hear some noises as heads are bonking off the table. Ref Zoran with a graciously slow 10 count. He's up to 5. Gunnar Brave has gone on top of the bleachers. The bleachers are folded up, so it's just a vertical wall. And he dove off the bleachers onto the Huntsman. So we're in a high school gym, and when the bleachers are not down, right, they're just up. They're a vertical wall that's probably about 7 or 8 feet off the ground. Gunnar just dove off the top of that. Ref Zoran's had to restart his count. Both of the people in the match managed to get back in the ring at the count of 9. Gunnar got a 2 count, but the Huntsman kicked out. Neither one is interested in getting to his feet at this point. Now they're slowly coming to it. And the Huntsman just ended the match with a huge kick that looked a lot like a Claymore kick, but he probably calls it something different because he doesn't want Drew McIntyre coming after him.
Fitness. We have Bambinos versus High Society.
All right, this is the main event for the debut show of High Voltage Wrestling. The Bambino brothers coming out now. They're going to take on High Society.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bambinos.
So we got Dom and Vinny, the Bambino brothers.
All right, the Bambino's opponent.
Their dad, Pops Bambino, is also in the house. He's manning their table. Here comes High Society, Thomas Keith, and Young Money. It seems like I can't get away from those guys no matter where I go. This match is supposed to be getting underway. All 4 men are still in the ring, though, playing rock, paper, scissors to determine who the starting 2 are going to be. Or maybe they're drawing straws. Thomas the Benjamin Keith is offering money to Vinny, maybe to step aside and leave his partner in the lurch.
Are we done? I mean, it's over. He's counting the money. He's paying them for the win.
So Young Money, or the High Society, is just trying to pay off the Bambinos.
Vinny and Dom are talking it over. Looks like Dom.
They're shaking hands on it.
He's just got to lay down and be pinned.
The Bambinos took the money and laid down. And with a sneak attack, they tried to roll up High Society, but no luck. Vinny has now hidden the dollars in his tights. Trunks. There is a difference, I think. And now we're off. Still don't know who the first two legal men are going to be. Vinny is now given the cash to Ref Zoran for safekeeping, but Ref Zoran's been working hard. He should just get to keep the cash. Things have settled down to somewhat of normalcy here. Young Money in the ring with Vinny. Now, it's been a while since I've covered a match of the Bambinos, and now that I think about it, I'm worried that I'm getting them backwards. This happens every time I try to talk about them. There's the long-haired one and the short-haired one. And tonight I'm calling the long-haired one Vinny, and I'll hope I have it right. But the more I say it, the more I'm suspicious that I have it wrong. Young Money just did a standing moonsault onto short-haired Bambino, who today I'm calling Dom, but he might be Vinny. And his brother is coming into the ring after being smacked on the outside by Young Money. Ref Zoran is chasing him out because he is not the legal man, which leaves High Society 2-on-1. Young Money just went for a sky-high leg drop from the top turnbuckle, and his intended victim rolled out of the way, so Young Money landed right on his tailbone. And remember, this ring was constructed with brand new parts, which means the wood that's in the ring as the foundation was cut and put there for the first time today. I don't know what hurts more, working on a ring with brand new wood or with, well-seasoned and well-flexed wood. I'm guessing it's the fresh stuff that hurts the most, and if that's the case, then Young Money's going to walk funny for a while. Side body slam there from Vinny Bambino onto Thomas Keith. I like it when that happens to Thomas Keith. The chop. The Bambinos are teaching the crowd math by having them count to 10. Oh, but before he got to 10, Young Money jumped up on the turnbuckle corner and got involved. That was I'm going to call that an assisted somersault neck breaker. The Bambino was up on Thomas Keith's shoulders. Young Money jumped off the top turnbuckle in a somersault up and over and tried to drag him down in a neck breaker, but didn't get a 3 count. Double drop kick, or double super kick from the Bambinos onto Thomas Keith. And they just got the pin on Young Money. So the Bambinos are victorious, and they got the money back from Ref Zoran, so they leave a little bit richer, too. And Thomas Keith is carrying Young Money off the backstage in a fireman's carry. Maybe he'll get him to come back around in a few minutes. And that's a wrap. That's the end of the debut show of High Voltage Wrestling here at Hinckley Big Rock High School. in Hinckley, Illinois. 6 matches, about 2 hours. That's perfect.
On their way back to the dressing room. All right.
Monster Matt doing the announce duties in the ring. The bow tie has been on point tonight.
High Voltage Wrestling in your social media. If you didn't like what you saw, shut up. Don't say anything. High Voltage Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Did you have a good time? High Voltage Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Would you come back? Please drive safely. Have a wonderful night. We love you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
And this has been the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. We should have coverage coming up of Backbreaker Wrestling's fundraiser for St. Baldrick's on September 14th, coming from Portage, Indiana. I believe that'll be the next delayed audio coverage that we'll have on the show. That will be coming on the air then the 15th, Sunday, September 15th. And yeah, that's all, folks.